What's up, guys? My name's Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty, and look at the ladder. It is set on my top 8 as well. Fremantle missing out by 6%, and we slaughtered them last week. So the Gold Coast Suns, the win, jumped into that top 8. Oh boy, we have a very different top 8 to the one that is currently going on, I think. We've got four top 8 sides. So we've got North Melbourne, Sydney, Geelong, and West Coast. They're our top 8 sides from the real top 8. Now, our other 4 sides are Richmond, Collingwood, Carlton, and the Gold Coast Suns. This is going to make for an interesting final series here. Look how tight it was, though. Between 6th and 13th on the ladder, just one game separated them. Unbelievable finish. Did anyone miss out on a win and that cost them? We have a look here. We've got Hawthorn. They won, but they were already too far back to make the 8. What about Brisbane? They won, but again, too far back. The Dogs. If the Dogs won, they would have been inside the top 8 just. I think on percentage, they would have just been there. And Melbourne got a win, but they were obviously too far back as well. So, interesting looking top 8. There's no face cam today. Let's find a topic to talk about, and then we'll do it as Richmond take on Port Adelaide in a dead rubber in this one. Now, I remember Richmond-Port Adelaide, Riewoldt needed 4 goals to win the Coleman. He's had a broken leg for 8 weeks, and he's up by 3. Oh, wait, no, we're the last game. That's alright, he's got the Coleman in the bag. I can rest him this week. I'm going to be resting a bunch of players this week, and then bringing all the good boys back for the finals. Here we go. Well, this looks like a shocking weather day for round 23. Richmond with a very, very inexperienced lineup coming into this one. God damn it, Windows. Shut up. And taking on Port Adelaide here in the final round before the finals series. Now, let's talk a little bit about the week off and then sort of sudden death grand final. We have a look at, next week, there's going to be a week off. I'm going to be doing some special things over here as well to, promote that week off and that celebration of football, as they call it. Townsend is the captain. Gee whiz. We got Evie Soldo in the rucks. Interesting lineup for the Tigers. We take a look, and next week, we've got a number of decisions that are going to be intriguing, because where the players are going to... You wouldn't think you'd be resting a player this round, because you've got, still a couple more rounds to go. So, we obviously have to take that into consideration. I was trying to kick that to the goal square. Are you kidding me, Microsoft? Shut up. Then, we definitely want to, have a look and see what's going to happen in that week off, and whether it's going to ruin the top 4's deliberate chances of actually winning a final, because they are in fact going to be like one game in 3 weeks kind of thing. So has it worked in the past? We don't know, because we've never had this scenario. So maybe finishing outside the top 4 would be a blessing in disguise, because you would have a week off going into 4 finals matches in a row, and that could be the momentum that you need to propel your final series forward. Now, once we get to the grand final, we're going to have this scenario of sudden death type thing, where, players are... Or not players, but if this is the most unlikely scenario out of any, we get to the grand final, we have a sudden death playoff because it goes to extra time, there's no leader after extra time, and then we have this sudden death next score wins type thing. Oh, McBean's so close. And that's going to be probably the most controversial thing ever. If someone does ever, I think, if someone ever wins by sudden death in a grand final, it will be the most controversial thing ever. And the AFL will be like, no, we got to change that. Like, it will just be absurd, right? I mean, but I like the idea of it. It'll be, if it's very, very unlikely it's actually going to play out like that. But you never know. You never know about these things. Anyway, let's talk about this game today. Richmond and Port Adelaide. Look at it, it's just wet everywhere. Next week, I'm going to have a special game for our Premiership season because it is a week off. So we're not going to be jumping into finals week 1 next week because we're not there yet. Because we're still a week away from actually the finals series, of course. So we've got to, you know, do other things to make sure that this final series goes according to plan. How did that handball go through my hands? Gee whiz almighty. Oh, that's a nice looking kick out wide to Moore. There's not long left in this quarter. He runs very far, goes with a little chipping ball to McIntosh. McIntosh turns around, need a mark. Oh, not going to get it. Quarter time, 1 apiece. Remember, we had a draw last time against Port Adelaide when we played them. Evie Soldo with the 4 touches. That's an unbelievable start. Back in the middle of the ground. Townsend handball to Moore. Handball. Oh, he probably dropped the pill, umpire. Ellis almost, but it goes out wide to Trengove. Almost plays on immediately through the outer side towards Hartlett. Moore gets the fist in there. Lloyd gets the tackle in. They got a man on their own in the goal square here. Who is it? I think it might be Liam McBean. Liam McBean. Right foot. No. One behind. Incredible. Incredible. I don't really know what else to talk about today, so I'm just going to, you know, commentate the game. If that's alright with you guys, I'll rather talk about finals once we get there and talk about other things next week. It's kind of just, you know, waiting for things to happen because the top 8 set, we already know what's going to happen, and that's what we're just waiting on is for the matches to begin. Rioli. Goal. And he kicks the opening goal of the match 5 minutes into the second quarter. I would like a count-up clock. It is a little bit more entertaining, I feel, anyway, sometimes, especially for tight games. Townsend, oh, mate, Ellis went backwards. He should have kept going forward. Oh, boy, big boy. Wingard handballs out forwards to the man who actually did go forwards, and he finds a Westhoff inside the forward 50, playing on Asprey. So they're trying to take advantage of that matchup, although that's probably Richmond's best defender, Dave Asprey, back there, and he Westhoff lines up and nails the goal. Port Adelaide get there first. Quick clearance out of there. Butcher's running this down. Broadbent as well. Butcher picked it up, got tackled. Drummond ended up with the ball. Had a bounce. Little give to Moore. He's down. Butcher picks it up again. Moore tackles him. Amon is getting the tackle in there. Soldo tried to get it out of there. Broadbent tackled again. This is just a cluster of tackles in the middle of the ground. Butcher eventually gets it out inside the 50 towards Mitchell. But Markov put the fist in there. The kick out wide to Gray was marked. And he goes back inside the 50, looking for Mitchell still. Markov puts the tackle on. Need puts the tackle on Broad. This is just a cluster of tackles at the moment. Neither side can get out alive. Deep inside the 50 to Westhoff. Fisted through. One behind. Oh boy. Big call. Doesn't have a bounce. Long inside the 50 in the Lloyd direction. Turns onto his left. Now he turns onto his right. Then he does a shot on his left. And it sails through for a goal. And the Tigers hit the lead. 55 from Richmond's goal. Tap out wide, but Lambert goes inside the 50 looking for McBean. Amon or Carlisle in front, out of Paddy there. Boak picks it up. Lloyd, no. McBean in there as well. Corey Ellis picks it up. Handball goes out wide towards Moore. Puts the tackle on and Lloyd will take the mark. 35 out. Not much angle. Line it up and kick the Tigers. Third for the game. He's got 2 and a critical goal at this point in time. Tigers looking for an option inside forward 50. Need someone to double back. Oh, little chipping ball finds Lennon. And he can go again over the top towards Elton. He can line up about 25 metres out. 40-degree angle. And we should be able to nail this one. Todd Elton just straight through the middle of the goals there. 4-2-26 Richmond. Port Adelaide 1-2-8. Forward out. Soldo got it again. Handball toward the boundary line. McBean picked it up. Took on one bloke. Dummied him. Stood a bounce. Running to the open goal. And he's kicked it on the full. Would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? That is the most bizarre shot at goal I have seen in my entire career. They're going to kick out wide. There's a little target. Oh, it's a shocking kick. Cal Moore intercepts. And can line up 25 out. A little bit of angle. Nail the goal. But boy, oh boy, wowee, Port Adelaide, what were you thinking with the kick? Lobe v Soldo. So Lobe into the ruck now. Tap goes towards Broadbent, who gets the handball out, or does he? Scholl picked it up in the midfield. He's playing. Gambit it off to McIntosh. McIntosh runs in 20 out directly. You got it. Alright, it. Directly got it. Directly on a 25-degree angle. And he nailed the goal. Just had plenty of space to work with inside that 50. Had time to put the ball on the ground, have a bounce. Run in. He's had 8 disposals and kicked a goal. He's been probably the most important player for the Tigers on the ground at the moment. We're probably costing Dustin Martin some Brownlow votes as well here. But never fear when the Tigers are here. Port go forward, trying to get back into this contest, but it looks like they're going to be absolutely crushed regardless. Shoulder towards Soldo in the middle. He's got a man running across with the handball. Oh, dangerous to Corey Ellis. We get a ball up. Probably the wrong option there from Soldo. Tap over the back, picked up by Wines. Now Ellis, little ball to Menadue inside the 50. Plays on immediately, and he runs in, and he's shanked the kick. And we've got 3 minutes remaining in this one. Out of Paddy Carlisle to Tumpus. Tumpus just dropped the pill. Lambert picked it up, little chipping ball. Finds McBean to line up. 45 out, 45-degree angle. Someone of his class should slot this, and it goes straight through the middle from Liam McBean. 7-5, 47, 128 Port Adelaide. 59 seconds remaining in the match. The Tigers are going to get the win here, I would think. Josh Townsend, the injured players for the Tigers. Is there time for one more? Soldo out of the middle. Handball needs to go forward. It does. Corey Ellis. Tigers need to mark. Maybe Ellis wants to go on his own. Little ball forward. McGolrioli got it on the siren of full time. And he can line up. 25 out. Little bit of angle. And seal the deal for the Tigers. The fans get excited as it's a big win by this young Tiger team. Coming from out of nowhere, many players making their debut for the Tigers. Now, it's at this point where my audio actually cut out and I had to start the recording again, but I was just saying that few of my players might get a call up next week for the finals. Rioli and Lloyd, they'll definitely be playing in there along with that senior group. Corey Ellis, big potential that he'll be in my finals team in a couple of weeks' time. McIntosh as well. I think he did a little bit of a hamstring, so whether or not he pulls up from that, there's going to be plenty more that I think is going to be happening throughout this finals series. We're going to go through the finals tree right now. Let's take a look at it. But just before we do that, have a look at this. The Brownlow medal, Brett Delidio has won the Brownlow medal. 18 votes. Trent Cotchin with 17 and Gaff for the West Coast Eagles with 17. So resting both Delidio and Cotchin in that final round may have cost either or both of them the Brownlow medal. Trent Cotchin would be spewing that he was rested in that final game as captain, and it was 1 vote short of the Brownlow medal there. Now, Jack Rewalt, we already knew he'd had the Coleman racked up. Didn't know that Sam Lloyd was hot on his heels, coming in with 25 goals as the runner-up in that Coleman medal race. Let's look at the finals tree now. And as you can see, Richmond has the ideal draw. Do not have to leave Melbourne. Win or lose in the first week of the finals. A win would send them straight through to the prelim to play either West Coast Carlton, Collingwood or North Melbourne in that preliminary final. A loss would send them to play either Geelong or the Gold Coast Suns in Melbourne. And then once again, when you get to that preliminary final, it would be against a Melbourne team in Collingwood or North Melbourne. So plenty of opportunity for Richmond. Do not have to leave Melbourne for the entirety of the final series. The Swans got a tough draw, though, if they are to make it through. Got to get past Richmond, and then they got to get past another Melbourne team in Collingwood or North if they do end up losing that one. But it's going to be a good final series. I can't wait for the actual final series to start. That's a couple of weeks away as well. So we've got next week, we've got round 23. Oh, well, this upcoming weekend, we got round 23. The weekend after, we've got our celebration of football or weekend or whatever. And then finally, we have the finals week 1 starting, I think, this first week of September. So very excited, or the second week of September. Very excited. It's all coming. Leave a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later.